This video is going to show how to add a drawer box and how to automatically add drawer boxes for the selected cabinet or entered cabinet. First, going to start looking at the cabinet types, and the very last in the list here is a drawer. This would be for a drawer box if you just need to enter in a specific size and not have it automatically calculated for the box. For example, you might want to use it for a roll-out drawer that is behind doors or something like that. So you would enter in the width to be the size that you want. Say if you want it 24 inches wide, by the depth is going to be 20 inches deep. The height is the height of the drawer, or just kind of the front of the drawer. So in this case, I want a 4-inch high box, again 20 inches deep. And how many of those do you want? Simply click Add Cabinet, and that drawer is added to the list. We could then calculate the parts nest. And hovering your mouse over top of any one of the parts will give you a description of what that is. And in this case, it says D bottom. We have the D front, the drawer front, the back, and then the two sides. So that kind of shows you how to enter in just a drawer cabinet or a drawer box for a cabinet. And I'm going to click New to show how to automatically have that entered in or have it be calculated for a entered cabinet. So if we select a base cabinet from our cabinet type list, or any cabinet type that has the drawer box or drilled drawer holes selected, will automatically open up a checkbox here to add drawer boxes. So for the base cabinet, enter in the width. If I want a 21 inch wide base that's 34 and a half high, and a total depth of 21, and have one of those, and click Add Cabinet. Now notice I did have the Add Drawer Box checked, and the drawer cabinet style is base. I'll come back to this later. Now selecting Calculate Parts and Nest, we have our base cabinet parts along with our drawer bottoms, or our drawer box parts. So here is the two sides, the bottom, and the two front and the back. So now we need to take a look at how did it determine the sizing for this drawer box. I'm going to first go in and take a look at what we have for the settings, cabinet settings, and then the drawer settings. We'll first take a look at how it's determined to be the width of the cabinet. And the width of the cabinet, or the drawer, is based on the width of the cabinet, subtracting out the material thickness for the sides, and then also subtracting out the space that the drawer guide is going to take. So that is done under the Add Drawer Brand, and whatever drawer brand you are using, if you are using a MEPLA, the slide width is going to be, in this case, 0.5 inches. So it is going to make the drawer box a total of 1 inch smaller than the inside width of the cabinet. In some cases, you might need to kind of fudge this number slightly. An example would be for a Bloom Tandem that is an undermount slide that doesn't need to go the full width. So what you could really enter in here, or the side width, isn't necessarily the actual width of the slide itself. It is the distance that you want the drawer box to be made smaller by the inside of the cabinet on each side. So if I only want to have a 1/8 inch clearance in width on both sides, the right and the left of the drawer box, I could simply enter in 0.125 and then click Add Save Brand. Then on the drop down box, we'll just tell it what brand that you want to use. So that is how it's determined the width of the cabinet box. So let's kind of take a look and see how that plays out. The front of this is going to be 17 plus our material thickness is 1.5 inch, so that's 18.5 inches plus the 1/2 inch on both sides, that's 19.5 inches. So the inside of our box should be 19.5 inches. So now we'll take a look at how the height of this box is determined. The height is determined by the drawer styles. Going back into the cabinet settings, then drawer settings, I will take a look at the modified drawer styles. Earlier I mentioned that we'd get back to the style that was selected there. In this case it says base. So if we select the one here, which is just a base cabinet with one drawer, would be the top drawer. The drawer front height is talked about in another video about the fronts and calculating drawers and where the placement of the hole is. I have another setting over here that is a drawer box height. So I have the box height set to be 4 inches on a top drawer. Now if we have a 3-drawer base, take a look at what we have set here. The top drawer box will be 4 inches high. The second one will be 6 inches high. The third one will be 8 inches. You could change these to whatever you would like them to be. After making the change, simply click Add New / Save Changes, and they will be changed. So for example, if I always want to have my top drawer for a base to be 3.5, or just say 3 inches rather than 4 inches, after making that change, click Add Save Change, we'll close, and now we have a box that is 3 inches high instead of 4 inches. And we can also see this change by clicking New and see how the other heights are applied using a drawer base, selecting the number of drawers to be 3. And remember, we had a 4, 6, and 8 drawer front heights for our cabinet style of a base. We have our 3-drawer base. We have one left side that is 8 inches, another side that is 4 inches, and here is another side that is 6 inches. So there are 3 drawers that are calculated with that. Now to go for one step farther and to taking a look at the construction options that a drawer has. The construction option, or the way you build a drawer box, can be built just the same as any other cabinet type that we have here. So going into the cabinet settings, selecting the drawer, and you could go in and change all the construction options just as the same way you would any other cabinet type. Notice the only checkbox that I have here is the dado backs. You could do a blind dado or a full dado for these drawers as well. And notice, it's very unlikely that you would ever want to cut hinge holes or any of the other features, but they're there if you wanted them to. Don't quite know why. Another option that we're going to take a look at for drawers is it's a user option to create a notch in the back of the drawer for a undermount slide. So to create that, going to be on the drawer options, I'm going to set it to have a user option, and then we'll come down and set up the user options for this. So I want to add a new feature. I'm going to give it a name. Cabinet type that it is going to get applied to is a drawer. And I'm going to use scripting. And I will open up the script file, drawer back notch. then save the changes. That will then close. We'll take a look at what change has happened there just under entering in a plain drawer box. So it changed the height to 4 and the depth to 20. And notice when I selected the drawer type, we had our user options open up with the drawer notch selected. Select calculate parts, and it has added a notch on the back of the drawer. Now we can modify the location of that notch and the size of that notch by going to Settings, User Settings, then Drawer Notch. So the width of the notch, the end offset, how close to the end of the back it is. So if we want it to be right on the edge of the back, we would enter in 0. We also have the option to add a hole above that notch. Right now, the add hole is set to 0. If we want a hole, change this setting to a 1. And you're able to place the size of the hole as well. We'll close all of our settings here. Delete this drawer and add it again. With those changes applied. And now that notch is placed directly to the far right with the hole centered above that based on the numbers that we've entered into the settings. So we can see that by opening up the DXF drawing here. Now the notch itself is placed slightly below by 1/4 of an inch to allow you to be able to cut that out. That notch depth is based on the thickness of material and the height of the notch. Where this notch gets placed is based on the dado inset that is set from the settings. So in this case we have a 3/8 dado inset. We could view that by right clicking, change cabinet settings. The back dados, we have a inset of 3/8 of an inch. If we needed that for some reason up to be 1 inch, selecting close and re-nest, we'll see that that dado has been inset farther and that notch has been increased. I hope this video is of some use. If you have any questions, please email or let me know.